right.
Okay, so the idea is that people know we're standing right in front of them.
Yeah, do it like where they can see.
That's what we were trying
So
to
you
do.
guys will probably come this way.
Right.
The cameras, y'all turn around this way. They want to come over here. She wants to be, she wants to see where the garage.
We want to be able to capture the fact that we're in front of the Metro. And those that are supporting Sasha should be up here.
What you do is, we have it where Donovan can give me a code if you speak. Donovan's going to give. We have Donovan just next door. Donovan give me a code. Donovan, heard? Donovan, just stay on the side of it. If you need to, somebody to pick it up. Just you got to be able to call it if you go through. When you look here,
Sorry.
How are you? I'm single. I have to take it over to come up. Yeah, that'll work.
you're going to have right on that.
Okay.
So Brandon, can you
Started. Now I'm gonna head back in there. Trying to decide if I'm gonna go. And I'll have public share about the community and why it's important to respect it. And when I do ask questions, oh, I think it's yeah.
Morning, now. Oh,
We just start.
all right. Look.
And you all let me know if you all have everything set, then I will start.
All right, I'll die.
Will you say something for a second? How's your day?
It's all right.
You shouldn't have to bend down. Just stand up
I
regular.
can stand up
Yep.
straight.
Yep.
All right. Just want to make sure.
Yeah, no, you're good. Ah, come on,
I don't
Lily.
think I have enough caffeine yet, but
Where do you get your caffeine?
the office. That's where my paycheck can.
Hey, when it comes to coffee, keep it black. Black coffee.
That's black
All
coffee
right, good.
or community with Joy Step 2. All right. We're good. All right. Thank you all for joining us today as we support one of our community members, our friend. I am Sharita Walden with Kentucky Harm Reduction Coalition. I'm the executive director of Kentucky Harm Reduction Coalition. We have been around for over 10 years now, working with our community to engage, educate, and empower our residents, our families, our friends, and the people who have lived experience throughout the state of Kentucky around harm reduction and what that really is. And a lot of people have a misnomer about what harm reduction means. They only see us show up and talk about people who use drugs. And that's not it. That's not all we talk about. In fact, today we're talking about a devastating harm that continues to precipitate through this building that we stand in front of, which is Louisville Metro Department of Corrections, our jail. And today we're here intentionally. I want to give land acknowledgments on the land that we stand on as our indigenous people, the Shawnee people, the Cherokee people. So we want to give honor to those folks who were here before us. And they're protecting us as we stand in front of you. So let's get right to it. What we do know, and the reason why you guys are out here and the media is here today, is because Sasha, a friend of mine, someone I've known for many, many moons, has something no one should ever have to experience whenever they have to encounter a system like the Department of Corrections. We know that our city struggles with oversight. We know that they struggle with accountability. But we also know that they respond when people show up in community and say enough is enough, and that regardless of there being a lawsuit, when we found out there was a lawsuit, but we said we know what can happen with that. Yes, Ms. Sloan will be taken care of. She has amazing representation, and they are from the Black community. However, after that is said and done, what is next? There are people still housed in these facilities that are not being treated the way they should be, which is respectfully, justly, and fairly. So that's why we're here today. And I'm not going to take up a lot of time because I really want to allow Sasha to speak to what has happened to her and what she can speak to in this moment. So I'm going to pass the mic very quickly because I need her to have time to speak. Sasha?
Thank everybody for coming. And first off, I chose this spot to elaborate on going inside that system. This is the driveway the police take you in for your booking process. And when I was in the car going down into booking, all I wanted to do peacefully was correct my mistake, do my time, hold myself accountable, and just get it done and move forward with my life. However, there was a lot of complications. But just know that when you go down into that system, it's nowhere near what you expect from safety, sanity, your physical. It's not that way, and I think it needs to be brought attention to so there can be change. I'm not the only one, definitely not the only one, but I pray the last, as long as we stick together and get some change.
I want to take a moment for you to really sit with what Sasha just shared. And thank you, Sasha. I know this isn't easy. This is not an isolated incident. We have been here before. We have been here before for other issues, but it's all around not being treated fairly and humanely. By Ms. Sloan not being treated for her condition when she was under the care and the supervision of an institution, it further credits behind our point and our statement that these systems do not care about us.
Right.
It makes it clear. And it's not just an accusatory or an assumption, it's because it's what we've dealt with. We've been here when those lives were lost from overdoses. Those were overdoses that could have been avoided. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring on one of our community partners from Voices of Community Activists and Leaders, Tony. He's a leader with Vocal Kentucky, which our councilwoman, Shamika Parrish-Wright, is the ED of this organization. He's going to share why it's important that we are here today. Kentucky Harm Reduction Coalition, Vocal, and other partners that have joined us but were unfortunately unable to join today. So Tony, could you please come up and share why we are here today? Thank you.
So my name is Pony. I'm an organizer with Vocal Kentucky. I really feel like that what we're missing is a lot of more communication. That I'm so fortunate that you are not another number.
Right.
That we're not up here for that. We're still celebrating life. And I feel like that we're not allowing what it really looks like in jail. You know, nobody is really understanding. Yes, I understand that we need to go because we commit crimes or whatnot, but we're not always criminals. And when they start taking that stigma off of us that we're all just criminals, and we start bringing in the way of, hey, what can we do to assist you? How can we help you? Not only when you are in here, but when you're ready to get out of here. You know, and I just think that it really is sad when you have to bring us together on a lot of bad tips for us to be standing up for us. Because that, at the end of the day, is who's going to be here for us. You know, and we need to be at the table. It's not just in this building. It's not just in this building. It's in that building over there as well. Because how are you going to talk about us without us? And how are you going to make moves without us?
All right. So the reason why we wanted you all here is because I wanted these demands to be made very loud and clear. What we are demanding as a community is that we need community advisory boards. We need oversight committees that come from the community. We need oversight boards that can come from the community members. That means that we want people from the community to have an opinion about what has taken place. When there is an complaint, who is reviewing them? Is it the people who work for Department of Corrections reviewing them? That's not fair. So we need real accountability. Department of Corrections, are you going to answer this? I know as an organization, Kentucky Harm Reduction Coalition, I've been knocking at y'all doors forever. Harm reduction should be at the table. Harm reduction is about making sure that we take a look and assess risk. Make sure that our staff are trained on how to properly follow through. The thing is, there's a real serious continue. Do the research yourself. It's out there. Go on Google. Okay? You can see that if you miss medication for certain illnesses, that you can actually prolong the illness or you can make it worse. And in Sasha's situation, there were issues that came up. You can read about it. This isn't stuff that we're keeping, but the real question that you guys, the media, should be asking is, why are you keeping it secret? Why did Sasha's situation have to come out with attorneys? Why did we have to find out this way? When we're looking at improving our system of care, when we're looking at improving how our systems take care of us, and what is it, keeping Kentucky safe and healthy, if we're really doing that, then involve the people that it impacts, like us. So harm reduction should be at the table. We need accountability. We need the answer to come from our mayor. We need it to come from Louisville Metro council members, and not just the council member who heads up an organization. What happened to the other council members? Why aren't you here? Why aren't you asking DOC, what have you done and not done? Why is this happening? Are we waiting for another life to be lost? Let's be real. Are we waiting for another death to really put some action behind our words or behind our policy? Who's really following the policy? I'm giving this to anyone that's watching. You have the right to demand these answers to these questions. Ask the right questions. Because if not, we'll be standing here again and we'll be talking about people whose lives were lost, just like we did a couple of years ago with DOC and the fatalities, the individuals, not just numbers, the humans, the bodies.
Shit, just 6 months ago.
Louisville, if you do not do anything, you have blood on your hands. I'm telling you that. You continue to. This is not okay. Okay? Thank you all for coming. I would like to open up for any questions right now. If you have questions pertaining to this case, I would like for you to ask the attorneys. Do not pressure Ms. Sloan for anything that she is not privileged to speak on, but please, I do ask that you take time right now and ask the questions that people need to know. Thank you.
I just want to clear one thing up also from the first conference. It was stated that from 2017 to 2024, I was repeatedly in and out of jail. No. I got arrested in 17, nothing until 24, which doesn't matter if I was in her daily.
That's right,
I
right.
still demand
100%.
and still deserve my rights. That's right. Now, just to clear that up for the world, no, I am not that repeat offender type of person. I felt into situation.
And I just want to say that I just want to say real quick that it doesn't matter if you're recurring, like if you commit crimes every single day. That does not matter. You are a human being, and these places need to start seeing our citizens as human beings. It doesn't matter what your record is, because I got a record, I got a pass, but I'm not that person no more.
That's right.
So you definitely, every single person should be treated like a human. We're all children of God.
Exactly. This could be any one of us.
100%.
Anyone.
And it's, I'm glad you clarified that, but yeah, that doesn't.
That's all right. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, she kicked. I'm Maurice Southern from the Voice of Louisville. I'm in the prison ministry, and excuse me.
No, you're fine.
I'm in prison ministry, and she came and reached out to us with her problem. And I told her that we would have her back to come and find out the problem. So I'm here for, you know, and it's not just here. It's in Oldham County. It's in all the jails. See, they say they refurbished. They got the people, new people there, but they kept the same nurses. They kept the same nurses. The one was not prescribing the medicine. So that's what we got to look at. They ain't changed nothing. They put a Band-Aid on it.
They don't even do that.
So she can reach out to us. I'm here to let her know that it's not right. She violated every right that she had. Thank you.
Thank you.
Where are we at in the legal matter? We have filed the suit for Ms. Loan. The current stage we are right now is the point of initiating the situation to be brought before the courts. That's what makes this country one of the best countries. Lawsuits takes time, and there are always three sides to a story. Ms. Loan, the defendants, and the truth. But let's make one thing clear. Her condition is not a white problem.
That's right.
Her
That's right.
condition is
That's
not
right.
a black problem.
That's right.
Her condition is not an Asian problem. Her condition is our human rights problem.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
And I will tell you this. It takes a lot of courage for someone to come forth and to explain to the world how she was treated, to have been allegedly treated. Whatever you want to put to that, she has her experience there, and she wanted to be heard.
Absolutely.
And for anyone else, know that people do care.
Yeah. Yeah, if anyone else is dealing with a situation like this has occurred to you, I would recommend reaching out so that they can further look into this. Like we keep saying that it takes a lot of courage to get up here and share about your personal protected information. She was supposed to be protected.
That's right.
And she wasn't. So since then, I'm very proud of Sasha being able to stand up and speak on something, especially in communities of color where we don't talk about these issues openly at all.
Right.
Stigma, shame, you know, being outed by your family and community, being treated discriminately by others. There's real fear there. So for her to come out and speak, I'm very glad that you all stepped out, because to hear that not everyone showed up to that first press conference pissed me off. Because we should have more people here. Because it is an us problem. It's a community problem, just like we said. So I'm appreciative that you all took the time to come out here and expose this, because we're not going to see the end of it until it is exposed. So if you do have any issues, I've heard of things. People have reached out to me already, and I'm redirecting them. I'm not an attorney. I don't get paid like that anyway. All right. But I want to connect them to people who actually believe in Sasha and know that this case is valued and that it's not just about money.
Right.
It's about lives.
And clearly there's a problem.
Yeah, there's a problem. This has been a problem. So I thank them for picking this up, because they didn't have to. They heard the call and they did it. So please, if this is, reach out to us, the organizations that are here. If you don't know how to contact them directly, feel free to reach out to me and I'll redirect you. Because there is other situations that are coming up. People are talking about it. They feel, Sasha, you have given people courage to speak up on their own story, honestly. You got people sharing their status, which they didn't want to share publicly, and now people are thinking about, wow, I should share about my experience and what happened. I have a friend of mine who I helped work with, and they lost their life soon after leaving Department of Corrections, and their family is reaching out saying that they did not receive their treatment in there. I don't know if it's true or not, but I'll tell you this, based on what I'm hearing from Sasha, based on what I've heard from Pony, who has lived experience, and based on others, this is not new.
I mean, just a couple of weeks ago, how many deaths have we had back to back? You know what I mean? So clearly there's a problem going on in this facility, and we're tired of them investigating themselves. There needs to be outside people investigating, and the city can't say we need to build bond, we need to move forward. We cannot continue to move forward when your own people won't take accountability for the actions that they're doing. And luckily, like we said, Sasha is still alive. There are plenty of families that are mourning and planning their loved one's death, and all they did was go to jail.
Yeah, absolutely.
That shouldn't cost you your life or make your illness worse.
Exactly.
You said encouraging people to reach out. How many people would you say have reached out since you've come forward with your story? How many people?
Anyone reached out to you?
Yeah, I've talked to 2 people.
And I've talked to 2. And these are just the voices of people who are willing to talk, not the people who are already still behind it.
And we have received many calls, but valid lawsuits not for everyone.
Right.
We tell them at the minimum, go get the professional help, because it's not the disease itself that can cause the harm or the death of someone. It's how we as a community, the surrounding individuals, treat them.
Good point.
They would kill them faster than the disease itself.
That's right.
Wow. Yeah.
Get help, professional help. It doesn't have to be filing lawsuits, but it needs to be professional help to guide you through this.
Can they still file a complaint if they say they were here and they were recently released and they discovered that they were mistreated? Should they still file the complaint with the Department of Corrections? Maybe people are fearful of filing the complaint, but because they actually file the complaint, if they're being treated unfairly or inhumane if they've experienced what this experience.
What we tell people at our office is, find an attorney. Talk to an attorney. That is a reason why they exist.
Right.
If you don't like our office, call somebody. Call an attorney. Get that professional legal help. But more importantly, call someone that's gonna be able to help you mentally. Because nothing's more important than your health and your freedom.
You're gonna need the strings.
Someone wanted to reach out to you, so could you repeat the name of the law firm and contact information?
But we represent Mr. Long here at Wimberly and Associates. But for others that are looking to file someone, to find an attorney, they can find an attorney. I would love to make this about Wimberly and Associates, but it's not. I want people to get help.
Right.
It doesn't have to come through our firm, but call an attorney. If you want that to be heard, brought forth for a court. This is still one of the greatest countries, and it's like that because of the buildings we have that has the courtrooms. It's not perfect, but it cannot and will not be able to address nothing if it's not brought before the court.
Right.
That's important. But thank you. I would love to have that shout out for our firm, but it's not about us. It's really truly about the individuals that are suffering. And if our firm is a fit, that's fine. But there are many, many attorneys out here that can, will, and should help individuals.
That's right.
What would you share with someone if a barrier for them is finances and they feel like they can't make that phone call because they don't have the financial support?
Well, again, we have attorneys. All attorneys operate in different fashions. You'd be surprised. You will call one and they will answer the call. And there are many that will talk. Finances is important. I would not sit up here and say finances is not important, because it is.
Yeah.
But before finances are being considered, the harm has to be considered first.
Right.
So call out and talk to someone. Find someone you can trust. And we shall not ignore color matters. Comfortability matters. We can't ignore that factor. So reach out to an attorney. It'll start shifting. But before you do that, get the help you need. Because you're dealing with something that others cannot relate to.
I would say this, were you gonna say something, Sasha?
Yeah, and I'm just gonna go with what he said, because contacting him was a process of looking up things, asking people. I did share, however, mindset. He told me first, get some help. Get some help. And I had already seeked out psychological help, as well as speaking to Sharita, harm reduction, but as speaking to Sharita, who's known me through my whole diagnosis. But you gotta look for that right person.
Yeah. For people who are, we're talking specifically about infectious diseases that have a high rate of discrimination. When we're talking about HIV, reach out to organizations like Vocal and KYHRC to ask us for recommendations. There's the fairness campaign. We get it. There's a reality that a lot of people don't know how to handle folks with differences, such as these diagnoses, substance use disorder, all the things that our communities on the margins are suffering from. So we want to take that into account, that you may have encountered. Like I tell people when they're looking for therapists, I say you got to date, right? It's like dating. You're going to have to figure it out. But yes, before you can take that step, mental health is the key. And talking through how you're feeling is going to be a big point. So we do want to encourage that, but find a trusted organizations to help guide you to those folks if you are unable to sit down and do the research that Sasha was able to do. Because we get it. We know that can be difficult. Great question for folks who are wondering how to step out. But we know this takes a brave step. This takes courage to be able to talk about something as stigmatizing as HIV. So I want to be clear about that.
No, sir, keep up the good work.
Yes.
Good man. Got a good man here.
Thank you for your support, sweetie.
So there was a question about statute of limitations on people wanting to file. Can you give a quick, give us a little education about what the statute of limitations are when filing a complaint or reaching out to an attorney about something? Can they go back 10 years? Can they go back 15 years? Like, if you want to know that, you'll be reaching out to organizations like ours.
That's a wonderful, if not enlightening question. Statute of limitation is one of the most important things individuals have to know about. And everybody's case is different. Just like your thumbprint of your right thumb is different from your left thumb. Like the nose of a poodle. The identification of a nose print on a poodle is different from any other poodle. The statute of limitations applies among certain situations that happen within the case. Okay. We tell many people you have to contact an attorney.
That's right.
And that will be the first thing the attorney and you will probably be discussing, because that's going to be important to know if you have any kind of right that's going to probably survive being heard in the courtroom.
Okay.
So being educated is one of the most important things we as people have to do. So let me make this clear. HIV doesn't cure if you're white or black. We know that.
Right.
So unfortunately, we find ourselves in this situation here again, many years before that, after the 80s. But statute of limitations is very important. But again, it goes back to the circle. Call an attorney.
this profession was designed for the problems that occur. This profession of dealing with law is one of the highest. But with great responsibilities, with great powers come great responsibilities. No different than the Spider-Man comic books would say. So I say, statute of limitations is very important, but you will not know until you call an attorney.
That was good. So that means you guys, especially on Stay Live over there, because I know he's live the entire time. Don't just count yourself out, y'all. Don't do that. You need to find out from the professional, from the attorney, what your situation is. Right? Please don't do that, because some people may walk away saying, "Oh, well, my case is nothing." That was really good. Thank you for that. Any other questions from anybody here? You all have been very helpful.
I think it's good.
Yeah.
You good?
You all good?
All right.
Thank you so much for coming out. Thank you all.
Anybody have a napkin?
Good job, girl. Oh, look at you. I wouldn't have ever saw this, you know. I wouldn't have ever saw this thing. I'm so proud of you. You know, I got you. Good job. So don't take this to the, Yeah. Good job. Good job. This is the problem. This is where
But she gets this house because she got the
Who's that?
Sorry, am I
All right, you guys. We will be back later. Everybody have a great day.
they got other stuff.